The Red Sox recently cut this pitcher to make room on the 40-man roster, but just re-signed him to a minor league deal. How will that work out for Boston in the end? Tune into today's episode of Locked On Red Sox, and I will tell you how it will work out.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Gabby Hurlbut, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast, and I am here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox, Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed for free. And who doesn't love free? I love that word, and I always take advantage of something that is free, so you might as well too. Thanks for starting your day off and making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Red Sox, and I hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving. It was really nice for me being able to hang out, see family that I hadn't seen in a while, socialize, and eat some great food. And then as soon as Friday hit, it was officially the Christmas season for me. I started putting up my decorations, went with my family to help them pick out their Christmas tree, and I'm going to be going this upcoming weekend with my fiance to get our Christmas tree for our house. So I am very excited. I was listening to Christmas music in the car all day yesterday when driving to and from a nice lunch that I had. So it was a very nice holiday weekend and a great way to bring in that holiday spirit and start the Christmas season off the right way. Hopefully you don't leave your shopping for the last minute. I usually do. So I'm hoping I don't do that this year. I probably should get on it soon, but it's just been a bad habit of mine every year where I shop for gifts the last minute. But good luck to you this holiday season, and I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving. Starting off your week, the Red Sox made a small move that I'm going to be going over on today's show. It's a minor league pitching signing. Is he going to pan out for Boston? We'll find out on today's show. I'm also going to be going over trust level of Craig Breslow so far based on the small moves that he's made, as well as the Red Sox 2024 record prediction. So you won't want to miss that coming up on today's show. Wyatt Mills is basically a pitcher that the Red Sox acquired in December of last year in a trade. They sent relief prospect Jacob Wallace to the Kansas City Royals and acquired Mills in that trade. He was expected to compete for time in the major league bullpen throughout the season, but ended up hurting his elbow in spring training and eventually underwent Tommy John surgery after going through other forms of rehab, and those didn't work. So because he had Tommy John surgery, he'll end up missing most, if not all, of the 2024 season. The Red Sox signed him to a 2-year minor league deal to cover both the 2024 and 2025 seasons. The way that the structure of this new contract will work, it'll allow the Red Sox to see through the potential benefits of his rehab once he's healthy in 2025. The downside to it is that they're paying him in 2024 when the chances of him pitching at all and seeing any kind of time are slim to none in 2024. So it's basically a low risk, high reward type of situation. Sign the guy to a minor league deal, allow him to get the recovery he needs in 2024, and then let him pitch in 2025. He didn't see any time on the Red Sox roster in 2023 due to the fact that he had to have surgery. So there's no way to really know how he would pitch in Boston at Fenway Park. He's a former third-round pick out of Gonzaga who currently owns a 621 earned run average and 7.9 Ks through 9 innings in 42 innings pitched with both the Mariners and the Royals. And at the time of the trade, when the Red Sox acquired him, they were basically intrigued by him as one of those buy low types of candidates with a low risk, high reward scenario. And they kind of compared him to John Schreiber in a way, who was in a similar situation and has 3 solid pitches, a 4-seamer, 2-seamer, and slider, that the Red Sox could be especially tough on right-handed hitters. And Schreiber has been good out of the Red Sox bullpen. So they kind of compared Mills to him. And then ultimately he wasn't able to pitch. And then they ended up non-tendering him. So basically, when you tender or non-tender a player, that's basically deciding if they get a spot on the 40-man roster or not. So they decided to non-tender Wyatt Mills at the non-tender deadline. So by doing that, they were able to re-sign him to a minor league deal. So he was removed from the 40-man roster, but also able to stay in the Red Sox organization so that they can see in 2025 or late 2024, if he's able to pitch, how he pitches at the minor league level, to then see if they want to bring him back up to the majors and give him some reps there. When he returned early to his major league career, he currently has a 325 earned run average, 32.06% strikeout rate, and grounder rates usually over the 50% mark over his 188 and 1/3 innings pitched in the minors. So obviously he has good numbers at the minor league level, which is promising, but the question is going to be, can he transfer that over to the majors? Because he has yet to show that he can pitch at a competitive level in the majors, because when he was with both the Mariners and the Royals, he struggled to get those numbers to where they were at the minor league level. So I think the Red Sox are pretty confident in how he can contribute at the minor league level to the Red Sox pitching staff. But it always is a question mark whether a pitcher is going to be able to return in full form after having Tommy John surgery. So the question for him is going to be, is he going to be able to come back and contribute out of the Red Sox bullpen at the major league level? Or is he going to be really rusty because he missed basically a full season of pitching, which is the 2024 season, due to his surgery? And is he going to have been too far removed where he can't get his game back to a level it needs to be at? And not only that, but also because his numbers at the major league level when he was pitching in the majors were not great, the question is going to become, was a change in environment needed? And is Boston going to be the place for him? And is Andrew Bailey going to be able to work with him to kind of find the level that he needs to be at and identify in his pitches what he needs to work on to get to the level he needs to be at? Or is he going to crumble like he did with the Mariners and Royals and realize that it's not the best situation for him to be in Boston either? And it might just be a situation where he's not cut out to pitch in the majors. All of those questions should be answered during the 2025 season when he does pitch for the Red Sox. You know, the risk is a small one that he just comes up and isn't able to contribute. And then the Red Sox are looking at the situation and saying, oh, well, we took the chance on this guy and didn't spend a lot of money on him, put him on a 2-year deal, and he wasn't able to contribute. So there's not much we can really do about it. Or he's going to come in and he's going to be a key contributor in a pitching staff that really could use the reinforcements. So if he does come in and he's able to contribute out of the Red Sox bullpen, it's a depth move in the minors, not too much to really overthink here, just a potential depth move that if he is able to get back to a solid form like he was in at the minor league level, he could be a good contributor to this Boston Red Sox team. So we'll see what happens it's too soon to say. Hopefully he has a smooth recovery and continues to move in a positive direction in 2024 so that he can pitch for the Red Sox in 2025. But the fact that Boston just hired Andrew Bailey as their pitching coach, I think is a promising sign for Boston moving forward because he's a true pitching guy. He knows what it's like to go through the challenges and struggles of being a pitcher at the Major League Baseball level and dealing with the pressure that comes with that. So he can ideally work with these pitchers to kind of find the right way of doing things. So if Mills is coming up to the majors and the Red Sox decide, he's been solid in the minors and we want to give him some reps at the major league level, hopefully Bailey can help him identify what his strengths and weaknesses are and make it so it's a comfortable situation for him. How much do you trust Craig Breslow so far? He's made a few small moves to this roster, primarily at the minor league level. What does it say about him and what does it mean going forward? I'm going to be talking about that next. Are you a big sports bettor? Is that your thing? Do you feel like you found your niche with sports betting? Whether you have or haven't, FanDuel is the place for you. Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. FanDuel's super fun, and my fiance is obsessed with it. He's constantly on there looking up different bets that he can make. He's come up with some sort of algorithm for the best bets to make for each sport and what he's more likely to win. So he's constantly winning these little bets now on FanDuel. And that's the nice thing about it. You can make smaller bets or you can make larger bets. You can bet on smaller amounts of money if you don't really feel confident in yourself or you're still learning, or you can bet large amounts of money and get a lot in return. So FanDuel gives you that flexibility. So if you're looking for the best, most reliable sports betting app, FanDuel is certainly the way to go. Don't forget, you can also subscribe and download the Locked on Red Sox podcast on your favorite podcast feed Monday through Friday, as well as download the SiriusXM app and search Red Sox, because you can get the home broadcast of every Red Sox game there straight to your feed, so you don't have to miss a single pitch of Red Sox baseball. And honestly, once Craig Breslow starts making more moves, I think you'll decide you won't want to miss any games in 2024. So download the SiriusXM app today and search Red Sox, because they will have you covered once the season starts for the home broadcast of every game. Speaking of Craig Breslow, how much do you trust him so far? He's made a few minor league moves, nothing major yet, just worked out some minor league deals with players, including this latest deal with Wyatt Mills. I'm hoping he can start to do some more. He's brand new to the Red Sox organization. And when somebody new comes in, they do need to work extra hard to prove themselves. It just is what it is. It's the nature of the game. Fans don't know how that person is going to be in the specific role that they're in. Fans need to see them make moves to feel like they can trust them. And people are still feeling out Craig Breslow. He's a new face to the front office side of the Boston Red Sox. People know him as a player, watched him play. But the question is, can he handle as much of a front office role as he's in now? This is his test, because he's coming into a situation in Boston where the stakes are high. The Red Sox are looking to compete again. And last year's roster wasn't exactly a contending roster. So the Red Sox need to be in a position where they can compete with the other teams in their division, as well as just the other teams in the American League, in what's been a stacked American League the last couple seasons. So he's made a couple minor league deals. The question now becomes, is he able to handle the big moves? Can he make those negotiations with players? Can he not shy away from making big deals and really working through these big contracts with some of these high-end free agents, especially from a pitching standpoint, because the Red Sox need the pitching. And to some degree, I do trust him because the Red Sox really needed a pitching mind, and Breslow, as we know, is a pitching mind, and he hopefully can provide value in the sense that he can utilize his knowledge of pitching and baseball and bring it to his role and say, okay, this guy is somebody who could fizzle out in the next couple of years, so it probably wouldn't be worth signing him. Or this pitcher has a ton of potential if he finds his right balance of when to throw which pitches. He could be a serious weapon for this Red Sox team. And if you're looking at pitchers like Ohtani, who won't be able to pitch in 2024, or Yamamoto, who can come in and contribute right away, or Jordan Montgomery, who the Red Sox have already expressed interest in, those are pitchers that would be worth the money. The question just becomes, are the Red Sox willing / capable of putting the right appropriate level of price tag on those pitchers? Because with Xander Bogaerts, we saw the situation where the Red Sox didn't jump on it early enough, and as a result, he ended up going to free agency and ended up landing with another team that gave him a huge deal that I think was a huge overpayment. So I think if the Red Sox gave him that deal, it would have been a mistake anyway, but I think they could have signed him to a little bit lesser deal had they not waited so long and they worked something out with him before he hit free agency. So that was a mistake of the Boston Red Sox, but they at the time were also in the position where it appeared like they weren't willing and ready to go all out and spend the money that they need to get the players in here to create a championship caliber team again. But by signing Craig Breslow and hiring him to be that chief baseball officer that the Red Sox want him to be, that's sending a message to Red Sox Nation that they wanted a change because something that Chaim Bloom was doing wasn't good enough or cutting it for what the Red Sox are trying to do. And if that sense is that they didn't feel like he was a good piece of the puzzle moving forward for the future, then they wanted to bring in somebody who was going to have that good balance of winning now, but also continuing to develop players for the future and acquire players who could be a good fit for the future. So the way the Red Sox are going about it with Breslow is it seems like they're hoping he'll make some big moves. I still can't give him a confidence level that's very high yet because I have yet to see him work out one of those big deals. We can throw out names here and say the Red Sox are interested in so-and-so, or the Red Sox think they want to pursue this player, but I have to see that happen before I'm ready to say, oh, I really trust Craig Breslow and what he will do for this Red Sox organization. So, Craig, my eyes are on you. It's your move now. If I have to say a trust level right now, I'd say my trust level is at about a B-. I think it could be better. It could be worse. He could have not done anything so far. And from a pitching standpoint, I like the moves that he's made, including that trade of Louis Urias, where he got a pitcher, Isaiah Campbell, in return, who has a lot of upside and theoretically could provide a ton of value in Boston. So I like what he's done from a pitching standpoint for this minor league system so far, but I need to see him make some of those big moves at the major league level, because one of the biggest mistakes Chaim Bloom made was he would kind of wait around, wouldn't make a lot of those big moves, and then a lot of the big free agents were off the board. So he has to show now, Breslow, during his tenure, that he's willing to be aggressive when it comes to those moves, because I think Bloom was a little too passive and they missed out on a lot of those players. And part of that probably was Red Sox ownership saying we don't want to spend this money on certain players. But to a point, you need to be able to make your own decisions and take action, whereas Bloom liked to wait and at the last minute would make some moves. I think with Craig Breslow, he'll hopefully jump on moves sooner and more aggressively, but I need to see how the first big move at the major league level goes down for him and see what kind of deal it is. If it's a trade, what the return is, or if it's a free agent contract, how much they're paying this player, and if I like it, then I can boost that trust level up even more. But right now, for me, he's a B-. And the reason he's that high up is because I truly do trust his pitching mind and his ability to bring in some talented arms that can really contribute, whether right now or down the road for this Red Sox team. So we'll see if he's able to improve that. But right now, that's my trust level in Craig Breslow. Coming up with Craig Breslow at the helm, what will be the 2024 Boston Red Sox regular season record? I will be making my prediction for that next, so you absolutely won't want to miss it. First of all, Locked On has launched the first ever National Sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever National Sports 24/7 streaming channel. This is very exciting for the Locked On Podcast Network because nobody else does this. And if you're continuously looking for a live stream, or at any point in time you want to be caught up on what's going on in all sports, Locked On Sports Today has you covered with that 24/7 live stream. So be sure to subscribe today. And while you're at it, download the SiriusXM app to your phone because you can get the home broadcast of every Red Sox game right there. So you don't have to worry about missing even a single pitch. Like 162 regular season games is a lot, and we can't always sit there on our couch and watch the game start to finish live. We have other things going on. So if you have something else going on and you can't watch the game live, be sure to tune in on the SiriusXM app and listen to the broadcast at least, because you can still get that way, and you still at least know, hey, I can hear the game, so you don't have to stress about it. Don't forget also to follow me on Twitter at GabbyHurlbut10 and follow the show on Twitter at LO_Red Sox. And we can continue the conversation that way, find lots of different conversation starters about the Boston Red Sox. What are they going to do in 2024? Are they going to be better than they were in 2023? The answer to that is absolutely. I have no doubt they will be. How much better will they be? Will they be competitive in their division? If you follow me and the show on Twitter, we can talk about all of that there. And don't forget to continue to make Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am here for you. I got you. I have you covered with all of the free agency moves that come up throughout the rest of this offseason. And I hope you continue to tune in, leave a rating, leave a review, share it with friends and family. I always enjoy the interactions, so don't forget to do that. I know I just gave you a long list of to-do items, but it absolutely will be worth it, I promise. Want to know why it will be worth it? Because the Boston Red Sox will be better in 2024 than they were in 2023. They were absolutely plagued with injuries in 2023. They had a pitching staff that was basically in shambles as a direct result of the injuries and guys having to be overused because other guys were injured and they couldn't be used or throw regularly. So Cora had to put in other arms that you may not have been used to seeing regularly, or you might not have agreed should have been in the spot that they were pitching in. But it put Alex Cora in a tough spot, and the Red Sox just lost a lot of life in the last couple months in the season, and they really struggled to find consistency all year long, especially from a defensive and pitching standpoint. They had a good offense, and they still will in 2024, but they have to cut down on the errors defensively, and they absolutely have to improve that pitching staff. And I think Craig Breslow and the front office know this. I don't think the Red Sox would have hired him into that position if they didn't trust that he could really fix what's going on with this Boston Red Sox team right now. And I don't think they'd hire him if they weren't confident that he would be willing to come in and make some improvements and really continue to expand on this Red Sox roster to get it to what it should be and get them to be competitive within the American League, but especially their own division, because the rest of the AL East just continues to get better. And the Red Sox are talented and they have more ability than you might think they do. They're not incredibly close to being a wild card spot, but they're closer than you think. They definitely need more than one pitching arm to get themselves back to where they need to be. And they do need a true second baseman who can come in and really contribute, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and help the infield in general to cut down on the errors. And they need to figure out their outfield situation. If they can figure out all of those things and they can assemble a team that has somebody who's competent in every position on the field, and they don't feel like they have liabilities, especially in the infield where the defense is so, so important, and they maintain that same level of talent and dominance that they did on the offensive side of the ball in 2023, they'll be in good shape and they can absolutely fight for a wild card spot with a team like that. If I'm taking everything into consideration that I just said, if the Red Sox do everything they should be doing and they go and acquire players in free agency, they're aggressive on the trade market if they need to be, and they're not afraid to get the guys that they need to get, I'm predicting a 90-plus win season. I'm going 90 as that bar. I think they can go up to 93 wins even, and they could win 87 or 88 games, to give or take. But I think that window of 87 to 93 wins is very reasonable. I think they likely will win a number of games that's in that range. My gut instinct is 90. That's my prediction that I'm going with. And where they stand in the AL East in 2024, I'm predicting that they end up finishing second in the division. I think the Orioles will win the division again. There's a lot of talent over there. They should improve their pitching staff this offseason and get a couple more arms that can really contribute and be part of the action and help get that team back to the playoffs where they were in 2023. So I think they win the division again. I'm not moved by the Yankees until they make a major splash. I don't expect them to really be a scary team in 2024. Their offense is not super competitive. Their pitching staff had a lot of injuries in 2023. If they come back, that pitching staff can compete probably more than you might think. But from an offensive standpoint, I don't really see them as a threat. The Blue Jays I see as a pretty above average team. I think they'll finish third. I just think they tend to underperform based on the talent they have on that roster. They should be performing better than they have been, but maybe that combination of talent hasn't really worked the best. So maybe they should look into reconstructing their roster a little bit, maybe bringing in some guys who could help balance out that team chemistry. It could be a chemistry issue. It could just simply be that they don't have the right makeup right now, but they're still getting there. So I see them about where they were last year, maybe finishing third in the division. And then Tampa Bay, it doesn't scare me. I trust that the Red Sox will make more big moves this offseason than the Rays, and because of that, I'm putting the Red Sox above Tampa. The Rays have very good pitching, and offensively, they were putting up some really competitive numbers in 2023 too. The question to me, though, just becomes how willing are they to spend money on high caliber talent, because the Tampa Bay Rays have never really been an organization that's operated in that manner where they've been willing to go out and be aggressive when it came to spending money on high caliber top end free agents, or even on the trade market, not necessarily being overly aggressive. And they have their young talent on their team that they've really built up, and now they have a team that is very competitive on the field that did make it to the wild card round of the postseason in 2023, but I don't see them being able / willing to make the types of moves the Red Sox are making. I think the Red Sox are locked in and they're talking to players, and some of these players asked for anonymous reports. Like, they didn't want people to know what teams they were meeting with. Shohei Ohtani was one of those players who wanted his meetings with teams this free agency period to be kept quiet. And if it wasn't kept quiet, then it would turn him against that team. So that could be going on more than you think. And maybe that's why there hasn't been a lot of things reported so far about who the Red Sox are in conversation with. But I'm inclined to believe they're in conversation with some players. If they address those needs and they acquire some players to be brought on that are major league caliber, they can compete again in 2024. And I'm predicting a 90-win season. Don't forget to subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube through Locked On. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. There are so many talented hosts here at Locked On, so I wouldn't want you to miss out on something that's a really cool experience and benefits you, because it can give you all of the sports updates for the day and you won't have to miss anything. Also, subscribe to the Sirius XM app if you don't want to miss anything related to Red Sox games, because you can get the broadcast on every game straight to your feed, so you don't have to miss a single pitch of Red Sox baseball. So you can start your day off with Locked On Red Sox and finish your day with the Red Sox broadcast on the Sirius XM app. Continue to subscribe, continue to leave a review. Thank you. Keep the faith. Go Red Sox. And I will catch you on the flip side.